Time once again for the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. With you as always, Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star. I'm Soren Petro from Sports Radio 810 WHB. Time to rank our quarterbacks from 1 to 32. Is Patrick Mahomes still on top? Is there another quarterback in Tier 1? There wasn't last year. Where's Josh Allen after an MVP season? Joe Burrow still near the top. Where do the young guys rank now? What to do with Justin Herbert? We're talking about it right now here on the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast.
You are listening to the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs on planet Earth, breaking down the Chiefs like no one else can. Red, Gold, and Bold is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Sam McDowell is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Soren Petro is the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. The Red, Gold, and Bold podcast is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are the hosts of the Best Chiefs podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro.
All right, thank you very much, Curtis. We do appreciate it. We are ranking our quarterbacks 1 to 32. Excuse me, I'm all choked up about it. We also are putting them into tiers. That's what we've always done as well, and I'll remind people, Eric Giger, I think this is one of his last podcasts before he went to work for the Carolina Panthers. It was me, Jeff, and Eric. Tier 1, one guy and one guy only, Patrick Mahomes. That was it. Everybody just had one guy in Tier 1. It was Patrick Mahomes. So interesting to see where things go this year at the quarterback. We've ranked them 1 to 32, right? And we have ranked them, and I've got you, Jeff, I've done the translation.
Okay.
You ranked them by tier, but I've done the translation of what your what your overall rank would be as you come down. And surprise, we've all got somebody besides Patrick Mahomes in Tier 1. Jeff, you want to lead us off? What is Tier 1? Who's the top of the food chain for you?
Oh, well, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. But after that, Josh Allen is number 2. Number 3 is Lamar Jackson, and number 4 is Joe Burrow. And as you know, I'm big on labels for my tier. So this tier is for guys who can carry your team to a championship. And so no matter what you put around these guys, they can go out there and do amazing things to put their team in position to win. They're legitimate MVP candidates every year. Numbers back it up. All 3 of the 4 have MVPs now. I think Burrow will have an MVP at some point. And I just think all 4 of these guys are the cream of the crop when it comes to the NFL quarterbacking.
Well, we're already off to a problem because I've got a huge bone to pick with these. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of similarity here. I don't have a huge bone to pick, but you got Joe Burrow in the first one. I think some people.
Burrow is in my first one, and look,
and Lamar. No Super Bowl for Lamar. No Super Bowl for.
I said can carry a team to a title. Right. That hasn't done it. I mean, that's a whole different list. I'm saying these are the guys who I trust, given what they've done, how they've played. Joe Burrow was 21 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in his team's losses last year. And so people have accused him of, well, he can't win it. It's like he's doing everything possible to win games. And I just think I give a ton of credit. 3 of these guys turn around losing franchise or teams that were having losing records when they showed up. And so I just think that, to me, that says a lot about who you are as a leader and what you can do for an organization.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't have some of these same guys in my top tier, but just I know what people are going to say when we put some of these names up here this high. And, you think
Burrow's controversial?
I a little bit. I mean, just full disclosure, he's in the top tier for me as well. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people. Listen, do you grade it all on Super Bowl? Right? If you haven't been to a Super Bowl, how can you be there? Some people that it's all about the Super Bowls, right? It's the Michael Jordan. Well, Jordan's got to be better than LeBron because he won more championships, right? Like it's a little bit of that conversation that's where people go. And I think it's unfair. I think it's part of the equation. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the end all be all. So I think there's some people that'll say, and I think there are plenty of Chiefs fans that'll say, what is Joe Burrow doing up there? For sure.
Well, go back and watch the 2021 championship game.
Well,
that's how he got there.
There was a big groundswell coming into this year of all the games he won, how well his defense played, and all the times he's had an opportunity to win it at the end and he didn't win it at the end against the Rams. He had the ball, he had time in the Super Bowl, he didn't get it done. There was a big groundswell. There is a case to be made that he's not. Again, full disclosure, I have him in tier 1. Okay, but there is a solid case to be made that he's not necessarily in tier 1. But I would disagree with that. Sam, well, go ahead, Jeff. You push back? Okay.
No.
Sam, where do we go for you?
I just have the top 3 in my tier 1: Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar Jackson. I think the reason that I've added Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson is I think last year they closed the gap on the production that Patrick Mahomes had. I didn't think Mahomes had his best season, and Allen literally had his best season. And Lamar Jackson had one of the better seasons in NFL history, 119 quarterback rating. I've said many times he would have gotten my vote for MVP if I had one. But those two, I think, have closed a gap in a way that I can't say Joe Burrow's closed the gap on Patrick Mahomes. So I didn't feel comfortable adding him to the first tier for that reason. You'll hear him soon, but I only put those other two in the same tier of Patrick Mahomes for now.
Yeah, I've got Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no Lamar Jackson?
No Lamar Jackson. You're going to hear him very early in tier 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think kind of the reason is Jalen Hurts is kind of the anti-Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar puts up the incredible regular season. Jalen Hurts' regular season is 22 or 4 touchdowns. It's never that gaudy. But in the postseason, not only has he guided his team to the championship game twice, he's outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl, right? And I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't want to say that. I don't want that to be true, but it is. And he is a dynamic threat in the fact that he is a quarterback that they seemingly time and time again can put in harm's way with the tush push, and they have an automatic play on short yardage. And he is a bigger part of it. Their offensive line is a big part of it, but his 600 or 700 pound squat is a part of it as well. His physical toughness to be able to take it is a big part of it. And that is absolute nails when you get to the playoffs. Like, it's important in the regular season, but it is really important. Just ask the Bills and Josh Allen if they'd like him to be a little bit better and be actually automatic on the tush push. I think Jalen Hurts, I think the postseason does matter. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it does matter. And I think Joe Burrow is an incredible thrower of the football. And I think throwing the ball is more important than running it. I know there's a bit of a contradiction with those two there, but I've got Burrow in where Sam doesn't. And Sam said we'll hear his name soon. I've got Burrow in there because I do think he is. Does he have Jamar Chase? Yeah. Does that help? Yes. But he turned Mike Gesicki into a guy who finally lived up to the potential people saw in him when they drafted him out of Penn State years ago, right? Like, he does make the players around him better. He is tough. He has leadership qualities. He hangs in there. He takes too many sacks, and I'd have no problem. I got no problem bumping him down into the next one, and I really wouldn't have any problem bumping Lamar Jackson up here. I mean, I think this was a close call for me, but I think Josh Allen is definitely number 2, and I definitely wanted Jalen Hurts in there because I think his postseason performance.
That tush push is pushing his tush all the way up to tier 1. I think you're weighing it too heavily.
Yeah.
All right, so you got
2 guys who have combined for fewer MVPs than Lamar Jackson.
So we're accumulating trophies. Is that what we're doing?
Well, that it speaks to how did I ranked the guys I want to have this year. Like, this is the order if I have a team this year, this is the order of how I want the way I'd have them. It sounds like you've really prioritized what they've accomplished already, which certainly plays into what I believe they can accomplish is what have they accomplished already. But
Well, to a degree, yes. It sounds like I am weighting it more than you guys, but I don't have Aaron Rodgers up here, right? And he's accomplished quite a bit in the game. So there's some give and take. But yes, I think it's clear. It appears that I'm weighting it more. But do you think Jalen Hurts under Andy Reid would look pretty good?
I don't really have a problem with Jalen Hurts being that high. He's pretty high on my list, but I don't know if I could have a top tier that would exclude a guy who's got 2 MVPs and probably had his best season last year. He didn't win the MVP. I mean, he's had legitimately could have 3 MVPs right now
in the regular season. And then what is he in the postseason? This is funny because a few podcasts ago, weren't we in reverse roles?
You were. I was just going to say
that. Did I say he never won a championship? I'm saying he can win a championship.
Yeah. So you're saying if you're an NFL GM, you would take Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson for this year?
I didn't just pin it down to this year, right? I didn't have that
for whenever, But you would take Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson.
We're ranking the quarterbacks. We didn't say if you're a GM, like we didn't define it to that point. But yeah, I think there is that. Yes, I think he is nails in the postseason. I think he has his biggest games at the biggest times, and I think that's the reason. And until Lamar Jackson does it, look. Does this mean like last year? And I know Sam, you didn't do it, but last year there was nobody else with Patrick Mahomes. Does this mean Patrick Mahomes is falling? It's.
Well, I mentioned that's why I put those other 2 up there. Is I do think they've closed. Last year they did close. Those were the 2 quarterbacks I thought closed the gap, but I still have Mahomes number 1 overall. But those were the 2 I thought closed the gap a bit.
But I think every time we do this, we're a prisoner of the moment. I think you have to be. This is the snapshot of where it is, and it will look different as we move forward. If Lamar Jackson goes and kicks ass in the playoffs, yes, congratulations. He should have been in tier 1, but he hasn't to this point. Which is funny because I was on the other side that I do think it's inevitable that at some point he is going to play well, but he hasn't yet. So as I rank the quarterbacks, I'm not giving him credit for that. So, but now that being said, he's at the top of my tier 2, right? So he's going to be number 5 on my list. He is the next quarterback. Jeff, I'll let you give your tier 2. Who's 5 through 11 you have here?
My tier 2, again, I'll qualify this as these guys can win a title, but right now they need help to do it. You got to put some good pieces around them, no matter how talented you think they are or where they're at in their career. So Jalen Hurts is number 5 on my list.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford is 6.
We really just had that argument, and both of us I have Lamar as the next guy, and you have Hurts as the next guy, and we just had to sit and go back and forth on that.
Well, I think the argument is that's why I put labels on mine so you know where I'm coming from. I don't think Jalen Hurts, if you put him on any team, can win a championship. I think Lamar Jackson, you put him on any team, probably could win a championship.
I agree.
And so
but one has
what? Yeah, because they put a phenomenal team around him.
Because that's what he's saying, though, is they have a phenomenal team. I think the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't think the Ravens advance with Jalen Hurts.
I disagree with that.
I'm not positive they get to the playoffs.
Jalen Hurts is not going to spit the ball all over the place the way Lamar Jackson did.
He's got to have a hell of a regular season to get him there, though, right?
I think there's some of Lamar Jackson's numbers that are like in mop-up time. They're like, I think Jalen Hurts would be just fine anywhere he plays.
Do we have data behind that mop-up time thing, or is that the
sound? They kind of threw that out there, like
it's called the eye test. It's called the eye test.
Yeah. The other thing about Lamar too, I'll say, is that they've built that entire offense, the entire franchise around his talents. They made a huge gamble on him being that kind of player.
And he still can't get to the title.
Well, I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he will win a championship at some point. But Jalen Hurts was not put in that same position in Philadelphia. They created a phenomenal team and said, okay, he made this for Carson Wentz. Now you get to drive the car. And so he's been driving it really well. But anyway, so Hurts is 5 for me. I got Stafford 6. I got Goff 7. I got Jaden Daniels 8. CJ Stroud 9. Justin Herbert 10, and Brock Purdy 11. So I got 7 guys in my tier 2 who I think, if you put the right people around them, some of these guys like Herbert, it's the coaching. Brock Purdy, we saw what he did. He got the Niners close a couple of years ago. I think C.J. Stroud, I know Sam is a C.J. Stroud guy. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here that a lot of the issues he had last year were not solely about his performance or his ability, that they just had a bad offensive line. I didn't want to overrate Jaden Daniels. You guys might have him higher, but I just feel like I give Stafford and Goff a little more love because they played longer and shown more. I think Jaden Daniels could have a sophomore setback. And by the way, his numbers weren't mind-blowing. And he did some phenomenal things, but you look at his overall numbers, and they weren't like, oh, my God, this guy threw for like 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in his first year.
Okay. Sam, you're tier 2, not quite as deep.
No, I've got Joe Burrow 5. I do have 4. I do have Jaden Daniels 5. 6, I've got Matthew Stafford. 7, I've got Justin Herbert. 8, I have Jalen Hurts. I didn't think
sidebar, sorry to interrupt, but Jaden Daniels, that does make you the highest on Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it. Like, I agree. Like, I'm always skeptical of what is the second year of a quarterback going to bring is more telling for their career than the first year. But first of all, he did it as a rookie. He reached the NFC Championship game. His best play was in the biggest moments of the game. I mean, we all remember what he did against the Eagles. We remember him what he did against the Lions. And I think something that is going to really assist Jaden Daniels is that he beats you in 2 ways. I mean, Jeff mentioned, I agree with him, the passing stats on their own aren't incredible. But he ran for 55 first downs last year. I do anticipate the teams are going to try and take that away, and he's going to have to use his arm more. But there's also going to be more openings as he's trying to use his arm more. I mean, he's explosive with the football in a couple of ways. And so I did base mine on, you'll see littered throughout my list is potential. Because if I'm picking a quarterback, there's going to be some, as a foreshadow, there's going to be some guys down my list that I think are probably lower than maybe are down your list. Because I'm not high on meddling veteran quarterbacks. I would take the potential as an opportunity instead.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I am shocked that we haven't heard Caleb Williams' name yet from you. You are the biggest Caleb Williams.
You'll hear Caleb Williams on my list.
I know. Well, we have to. He's one of the starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, you'll hear Daniel Jones on my list at some point too.
Yeah. Okay. Don't technically have to hear him. You can hear Anthony Richardson instead. But yes, I hear where you're coming from, and I have no problem with Jaden Daniels. My tier 2: Lamar Jackson 5, Matt Stafford 6, Jared Goff 7, Jaden Daniels 8. Brock Purdy 9, and C.J. Stroud 10. And I thought about C.J. Stroud maybe not making this cut.
Well, hold on a second. You're going to have to help explain this logic to me, though, because when we did the quarterback contracts, you had Baker Mayfield as a better value at $30-some million than C.J. Stroud at $2 million. But C.J. Stroud's a better quarterback?
Yes.
How are both those things true though?
Because I've changed my mind, right?
Okay.
Because we did in there the supporting cast part.
No, this was just the quarterback contracts part I'm talking about.
Part. Yeah. Well, look, I there is good talent around Baker Mayfield.
You went back and listened and was like, this is a really good point. CJ Stroud's moving up my list.
I did it. I think it does speak to where they are. I did it as I was looking at this. By the way, I did this late.
How deep did you go, Soren? Through CJ Stroud was what number? He was the last one in your
10.
tier 2, but what number? 10?
And as I'm looking at it, one, just for that damning argument you made right there against me, I wish I'd left him down because I saw that. I'm like, why do I have CJ Stroud up here? I probably should have waited on CJ Stroud.
And no Herbert?
He said, no Herbert. And I'm adamant about that. You got to do something in the postseason. You got to get there. That guy flops at all the most key times.
No, there's a postseason.
He said do something. Yeah,
spit the bit.
Really, really bad.
And what did CJ Stroud do in the postseason?
What did CJ Stroud do? He's won 2 games.
He's won two straight years, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's the one who beat Herbert last year.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What didn't he win a game as rookie? Yeah, he went 1-1 as rookie year too.
They beat Who they beat the first year?
Was that the Colts?
Well, they beat the
They
Colts.
beat the Colts to get in the playoffs.
But
they did win. I think he's 2-2.
Right.
Yeah, and
You're right. Yeah.
His whoever they beat, he had a great game.
Yeah.
three touchdowns and threw for 449 in the game.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Who are they playing? Is it Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Yeah, it was Cleveland. Yeah, Joe Flacco.
Towards Cleveland.
Flacco
I will
did
say when you go through this exercise, there are several polarizing names on this list, and Justin Herbert's the first one that pops up on all of our lists. He's a hard guy to grade on this list, but there will be more of those.
But you're the highest on him at 7, right?
It might be you guys all had. I guess you didn't have him in tier 2. Jeff
I did not have him in tier 2.
What Jeff had him like 8 or 9?
I had 10. He's 10 in mine.
10.
Yeah.
I think
I had
still
to
think
do again. I would flip flop Baker Mayfield and CJ Stroud, so I didn't have to think about it. Right, but I've already put it on the record. But I will point out that by ranking, you have Herbert 7, Jeff has him 10, and I have him 11. So
I thought it would be the high man on Justin Herbert. I think he's more than people give him credit for because of that playoff record. I think he's had a bad supporting cast. We've talked about it in a previous podcast. Soren, I think you brought up the point, and Jeff too, about Jim Harbaugh not relying on names, but rather just guys who can play. I think that will assist Justin Herbert. But also, when I went through the quarterbacks as we went through this exercise, he made the second most downfield completions of anybody in the NFL last year. Like, he's got a big time throw arm. By the way, number 1 was Sam Darnold. I don't think he's going to be number 1 next year. Sam Darnold had a lot more help downfield than Justin Herbert did. So still all the data was there, but it is hard to ignore how bad he was against the Texans in that playoff game. Like, they lost that game because he was terrible in that game.
Yeah. All right. We have tier 3 still to come. We will get to tier 3 here in a minute. First, we want you to hear from our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, proudly serving the greater Kansas City area. Nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor. Locally owned and making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Let Gann educate you about the most cost-effective way to solve your parking lot problems. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews. Every project comes with a written warning. Gann Asphalt keeps your parking lot safer and helps you and your business avoid unnecessary delays and costly expenses. Find Gann online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Northland Injury Law, Kansas City's Google 5-star rated personal injury lawyers, serving KC for more than 40 years, voted Kansas City's #1 accident lawyers, helping people with serious injuries from car accidents, work accidents, falls, and other personal injuries. Northland Injury Law doesn't get paid unless they get money for their client. Don't wait, get compensated now. If you have a case, text HURT to 22222. That's HURT to 22222, or call 816-400-HURT. That's 816-400-4878. The choice of a lawyer is an important one and should not be based solely upon advertisements. All right, let's go with tier number 3, Jeff. First of all, everybody is waiting anxiously. What's the title of tier 3 for you?
Can get you to the playoffs, and that's about it. I don't even know how you rank them, Soren. You're just like, at least Sam says, here's the guys I would pick if I was starting a team. Like, I don't know the criteria you use.
My list is absolute nails.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you call it, huh?
It's not that different than anybody else's.
I just don't know how you can split them into tiers if you're just like never deciding what's going to differentiate these guys.
Well, I would say the way you've described it is I wouldn't argue much with it. Like, I think last year, look at last year. Last year I had, and this is probably, I had franchise quarterbacks can win a Super Bowl, game manager can facilitate the game, need more information, and no chance. Okay. And I would say that you could apply those headings here.
Okay. That's fair. At least I can follow your logic now.
Yeah.
All right. For me, tier 3 can get you to the playoffs, and that's about it.
That's it. Okay.
And so I got 8 guys in that group. Number 12 quarterback on my list is Dak Prescott. Number 13 is your guy, Jordan Love. Number 14 is Trevor Lawrence. Number 15 is Tua. Number 16 is Baker Mayfield. 17 is Sam Darnold. 18 is Kyler Murray. And 19 is the Raiders' new quarterback, Geno Smith. I got 8 total in my tier 3.
Yeah.
You want to take some shots there, Sam, or do you want me to?
Well, it's filled with those types of players who I think I can understand Jeff just saying, "Hey, this is how I'm ranking their quality of play."
I think his title is accurate for the.
Yes, since my criteria was different, and my criteria was guys I would want, and I've seen enough of Tua. I've seen enough of Baker Mayfield. I've seen enough of Sam Darnold. I've seen enough of Kyler Murray I feel like I know a lot about what those guys are, and more importantly, what those guys aren't. And so that's why I said my list is going to have some young players with some potential higher than I think guys on your list, because I had slightly different criteria.
But this is what we added this year that we didn't do in years past, is we've got the tiers, but we also rank them 1 to 32. And because I think that tells a little bit of a different story. So if you were, based on how you were doing it, Sam, and you're calling these quarterbacks, they're all free agents, and you want to get a hold of them, and you're going right down your list, and you're being told no, or you don't have enough money to get them, or whatever it is, when you bring in the rankings, like you've seen enough of Geno Smith, right? Correct.
We've had fewer games of Geno. I think Geno's played better than those other guys on the list. Actually, like I've got Geno ranked higher than I think a lot of those guys that Jeff just mentioned.
That's what I was going to say. Is like that's why I think it's important to give more context of where the tier is, of who you think the group is, and then also the ranking, because you actually have Geno Smith 15 and he has him 19, but he has him in a higher tier, right? So like in this. You would be like, we got to spend more money to go get one of these other guys. Like that would be your mindset in getting it. And maybe that's how we should define it next year. Building a team. Do it this way versus
that'd be a different.
Like I think it'd be interesting to see if we all did it by your criteria, would it change things?
By whose criteria?
Yours.
Oh,
Sam's.
yeah.
That's why I think the texture of having the rankings, it is interesting, like how you described a lot of those guys, yet you're higher on some of them. So,
but here's what I'll say, and before Sam answers, I think we are looking at it the same way. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of how far can this guy get you if you have him. And Sam's just saying, I want this guy on my team. Now, if Sam said, I think I want this guy on my team and he can get me to the championship, I think it's a different list.
Yeah. Sam, would you describe this point in your list, Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff? You still think these guys can get you the championship? They need help.
That's just to tell the people that's my third tier.
Yeah.
Nine is Jordan Love.
Yes.
10 is C.J. Stroud. 11 is Dak Prescott. And 12 is Jared Goff. Yeah.
How would you describe that group?
I think catch a couple breaks and I could get to a Super Bowl.
Okay.
With that group. But again, like I ranked Jordan Love. I wish Jordan Love had a better year last year. I think I had him ranked higher last year than I do this year. And for his age, that shouldn't be the case. And I anticipated after last year that, we'd have Jordan Love and it's like a top 6, 7 quarterback. We don't. None of us do. I might be the high guy on Jordan Love at 9.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, he's 13 for me.
I'm still banking on some potential. He was still 5th in the league in QBR last year, but I thought we'd see a leap from him that we really just kind of saw the same season, which was a good season. It wasn't a great season.
I agree. He fell in my eyes too. You have him at 9. I have him at 15.
He's
I'm sorry, you have him at 9. Jeff has him at 13. I have him at 15. But we all three have him here in tier 3. So there's a similarity in how we're viewing.
I'm interested. 15's pretty low, I think.
I go Justin Herbert 11, Baker Mayfield, the great, 12, Aaron Rodgers 13, Dak Prescott 14, Jordan Love 15, Tua 16, Bo Nix 17.
So the Packers should get rid of Love and get Aaron Rodgers back.
That's right. I mean, where would they be today if they just hung on to Aaron Rodgers?
Man, that's high for Aaron Rodgers, isn't it?
This
is a Gary Parrish poll attack type of ranking on Aaron Rodgers, I think.
Hey, what if he has a big year? Are you going to throw some props my way?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
That's part of what we're doing, I think, is
I
predicting
think
the
he can still
potential to
spin the
have
ball.
those kinds of years.
He got hurt too. He got hurt early, and he was playing through some things, right? I mean, I think wasn't it a part of his issues when he came back from that? Was it
Jordan
MCL
Love
sprain?
you're talking
Yeah,
about?
Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Jordan Love was playing
Yes.
through injuries. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That was a part of the equation for him. But I think interesting here is we're through half the tiers. We did 6 tiers. You're through 12, Sam. I'm through 17, and Jeff is through 19.
Yeah. And that actually was not intentional. But when I went through these guys, and I think it's indicative of what we saw last year, we did not see great quarterback play in the NFL last year. And like I would prefer to have an even split, but I do think these 12, I thought this was a pretty clear line from tier 3 to tier 4.
Okay. Let's go to tier 4. Jeff, at some point, you and I are going to be shortening up, and Sam's going to be getting a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm shortening up right now. I've only got 4 in my tier 4, and these are guys who I think are young but promising. I think that they might be playing in the playoffs fairly soon if things go well. Maybe if they really mature into what people hope they can become, they can win a championship down the road with the right supporting cast. But Bo Nix is in there. But Bryce Young is number 20 for me. Number 1 in this group is Bryce Young. Number 2 is Bo Nix. He's my 21st ranked quarterback. And then Drake May is 22 and Caleb Williams is 23. And I still feel like all these guys, you had Bo Nix in the previous tier. I thought that was high for him because I think he was more about the coaching and the scheme and the opportunity and the defense setting him up last year. I want to see more from him. Bryce Young impressed me with the way he came on in the second half there. They changed some things in the offense and set him loose and coached him better. So I liked his trajectory. Drake May quietly was doing some positive things in New England. I think Caleb Williams, I keep saying this, I mean, his numbers, like, the more intricate analytics on him weren't great, but I thought that given the situation he was put in, I thought he had a decent year. I think people look at him like he was a complete disaster. I didn't see that. I think he can be fixed with the right coach and the right supporting cast, and I think he has that now.
I think it's important to see him with an offensive-minded coach and some continuity there. Yeah, I think this is a big year for him, and I agree. I think there's upside for him there as well. Sam, you did not have Bo Nix. You talked about being about the upside, but you didn't have Bo Nix in the last year. But I did. But you do still have him by number ranked higher than I do. So how's your tier 4?
Yeah, I mean, so Jeff and I inverted basically tier 3 and tier 4 for the reason I mentioned before. Like all that upside that he just mentioned on any of those players, I'd take that to over Trevor Lawrence, over Tua, over Sam Darnold, over Kyler. So that's why my tier 4 here is very high on potential. I've got Purdy 13, Bo Nix 14, Geno Smith 15. I just rate Geno better than most people. That's the reason I have him at 15. I've got Caleb Williams 16, Baker Mayfield 17, Drake May 18, and Bryce Young 19.
All right, so Caleb Williams, which I agree, has a potential to take a big step forward. I mean, you're obviously going on the potential of having him over Baker.
Absolutely, because I really think Caleb Williams was bad last year. I get this. This came down to I'm ranking, like I said, based on who I'm taking in 2025, and I'd rather take a flyer on that guy and that talent than everyone else that's below him on the list. Like, give me the flyer on Caleb Williams over what I've seen from Sam Darnold, over what I've seen from Kyler Murray so far. Now, if you're on Jeff's criterion saying I've got a ready-made team and I want to get to the playoffs, you might come up with a different answer there. I'm trying to tap into where I think I am most likely to reach a pretty high ceiling, and that comes with Caleb Williams at 16.
And I guess maybe the reason I didn't think about it is that it's such a hypothetical situation, right? Because like you don't get all 32 guys to pick. And maybe that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's interesting how you looked at it, because it's a totally different way of looking at it. This is my tier. What did I call it last year? I called it can facilitate the game, but that's not what I would call it this year. On this year, I would call it upside, right? This is where I kind of go Sam McDowell and say, okay, There are going to be guys down there that have accomplished more that maybe would be better right now. But this is my group of guys that all I think there's upside. And one guy's going to kind of stand out as not fitting in here, but I'll explain why. Caleb Williams at 18, Bryce Young 19, Sam Darnold at 20, Cam Ward at 21, Drake May at 22, J.J. McCarthy at 23, and Michael Penix at 24. Sam Darnold is in there because he's really only been successful once with one offensive coordinator. And I think it's still about upside. Okay, now he's going to do it someplace else. We're going to find out how good he is. I think he's probably going to regress. So I didn't want him down in tier 5, but I don't know that I feel like you can just count on him. His playoff performance was so bad.
Scary bad, too. Like nervous.
So bad.
Nerves bad sort of thing.
Like, really, his playoff performance puts him, he should be down in tier 5. Right. And that's my fear, is that once you got in against high quality opponents, like the head coach couldn't just scheme past everything. And so you had real problems there. And so that is, to me, that is like, you know, where the Chiefs getting beat up by the Eagles really had a lot of people getting sour on them. I don't know how you could not be sour on Sam Darnold. He had such a great year. There's all the reason to believe in him, but that playoff game was awful. It was awful. So I hate that he's in the middle of it, but I think there is upside for him to come back and be pretty good in the regular season. But all these guys, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, unproven upside. I didn't take it to the degree you did, but I think there are guys in tier 5 that'll play better than these guys, but there's upside there. So that's where I went with tier 4. Any rub there?
No, I think you're more similar to my criteria than you think you are.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, like you said, Sam Darnold's a little bit of an outlier for that kind of group, just because you've got some guys who haven't played at all. Penix played 3 games. McCarthy has never played.
This is why you didn't want to name the groups, Jeff.
That's right. But I understand I understand what he's saying. His rationale is, I think there's bigger things ahead for these guys. I'm always leery of picking quarterbacks I have not seen play. And so all the guys who haven't played or have played less than a full season are always going to be at the bottom of my list, just because, you know, Sam made a great point about, you know, the upside of these guys, these younger guys. But I could argue, hey, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, and Kyler Murray, all these guys were in that same spot 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
Like, how is it that these guys would wind up there? You know?
I totally agree with that point.
If I had it to do over again, I probably would bump Darnold up to 18 and sit him in tier 3 and say, okay, you know, if you give him everything, he can give you a really good regular season. These other guys are unknown, but with upside to maybe join the upper tiers at some point, right? Darnold, I do know, is not going to go to the upper tiers. So he does stick out like an absolute sore thumb in this one. I would do it differently if I had a chance to do it over again. By the way, if you're hungry, Whataburger's got you covered, open 24 hours a day. Your favorites are back, Kansas City, now for a limited time at all your KC Whataburger locations. Get the Pico de Gallo burger, 2 large beef patties, 2 slices of pepper jack cheese, Pico de Gallo, and creamy cilantro lime. How about the sweet and spicy bacon burger, 2 large beef patties, American and Monterey Jack cheese, bacon, grilled onions, and topped with sweet and spicy pepper sauce. Or grab the patty melt. Even the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich. They're all perfect with the Whataburger banana pudding shake. Remember, Whataburger's open 24 hours a day. Breakfast served 11 p to 11 a. And don't forget, you can get all your Whataburger favorites and more by downloading the Whataburger app with the QR code. Whataburger, proud sponsor of the Red, Gold, and Bold.
Big moves, bigger vibes. If you haven't heard, Besame Wellness is now Suede Cannabis. Our colors and name may have changed, but you'll still experience the same great service on top of better deals, longer hours, and faster delivery. Smithville, Liberty, Kansas City, Warrensburg, and North Kansas City. No matter which location you visit, you'll feel right at home. Find the location nearest you and shop online at SuadeCannabis.com. Life should be dope. Let's make it happen. Suede Cannabis.
All right, Jeff, we're ready for tier number 5. Where do you go in tier 5?
These are what I would call the game managers, short timers. And so these are the dudes who I'm not having high expectations from. I'm not expecting major seasons, and I'm not expecting them to be around beyond 1 to 2 years, because they are not the future for these franchises. And number 1 on that list, number 24 overall, is Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson is number 2 on that list, 25th overall if he wins the job. Assuming he'll start there, but how long he holds that with Jackson Dart depends on how well he plays. Justin Fields is 26th overall. I don't have high hopes for him with the Jets. And then I'm picking Joe Flacco to win the Cleveland job just because he's the most accomplished player. That'll probably change because he's just so old, but I think he's the one I would trust the most. He's 27th. And then Daniel Jones is 28. And he's interesting just because I think with Shane Steichen, who's a really creative offensive coordinator, Anthony Richardson he has been a disaster. You talk about Caleb Williams being bad. Anthony Richardson's had a rough start to his career. I just don't think he's going to end up winning that job. And I think Daniel Jones, playing with a coach like Steichen with some decent weapons around him, a good run game, some decent offensive receivers, has a chance to do some good things. So, but I don't think he's the future there either. So those are my 5 for that tier.
Okay. What did you call by the way, I didn't write it down. Tier 4. What was the title for tier 4?
Game managers and short timers.
No, that was tier 5. What was it for the one before?
Oh, the one before, young but promising. You
Okay.
can call it upside. Same thing.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I make a note of that because I like that. All right. Tier 5 for you, Sam. Where do you go?
Number 20, Trevor Lawrence. 21, Kyler Murray. 22, Michael Penix. 23 is Tua Tagovailoa. 24, I still butchered it. 24 is Aaron Rodgers. 25, JJ McCarthy. And 26, Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Wow. You were really down on Sam Darnold.
I am. I think. First of all, we had a lot of evidence that Sam Darnold was not that great, and so I think a lot of people saw it, put up some good numbers. I just think the Sam Darnold assist is from Kevin O'Connell, and I think he's going to lose that this year. And I'm not high on what Seattle did in the offseason at quarterback.
I got your back 100% on that. I think he will manage the game. I do think, his first couple of years with the Jets are not as bad as people think. If you go back and look at him, like people act like he was a disaster. He wasn't.
Yeah, no help.
Exactly. I don't think he'll be a disaster, but I do think it was Kevin O'Connell was the juice on that.
Yeah.
So I'm in total agreement. And Trevor Lawrence at 20. And Jeff, where did you have Trevor Lawrence? 14.
I had him 14.
I don't know what you people are seeing with Trevor Lawrence. I have him in the same.
Well, not much. I've got him in my 5th tier.
You got him 20. I go Russell Wilson 25, Justin Fields 26, Joe Flacco 27, Kyler Murray 28, Trevor Lawrence 29, and Geno Smith 30.
I thought I was going to be low man on Trevor Lawrence.
Oh.
He's got 29.
But you're bumping up a lot of guys, and I get it. You're bumping up a lot of guys who haven't played yet, and so Trevor Lawrence is not. He's not the greatest thing walking, but he has led his team to the playoffs. He has, again, led a team out of really bad situations as a franchise. I don't think he's. I think he's just like Justin Herbert to me. There's something missing when I watch him play, but he's talented and he's got his team to the playoffs. So I give him credit for that.
Is he talented?
Yeah, he's talented. Yeah. He's just not talented in the way that Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen are talented, but I think he could do more things like Justin Herbert, like those players do with his mobility. But I think there's something missing.
I've got a big gap between Herbert and him, though. Like, what if I got 13 players between them? How many players do you have between Herbert and
Lawrence?
And Lawrence. You ranked Herbert.
I've got 18 between the two of them.
What'd you have, Jeff? Do you have him?
He has Lawrence up at 14. I mean, he's backing up what he said. He's got Herbert at 10 and Lawrence at 14.
Yeah. I just see a bigger separation between.
Yeah, but again, you guys have already named some guys who are at the bottom of my list. Like,
you definitely take another approach. I mean, you've got upside guys down there.
Has Trevor Lawrence gotten better?
No, not in my opinion.
That's what worries me about Trevor Lawrence. Is I haven't seen that he's gotten better.
Yeah, and
but is that any different from Kyler Murray or?
That's why I've got those guys even lower.
Baker.
It's not. No.
I think they're all in the same boat.
It's not. That's why I've got
Baker Mayfield.
Baker has, but that's why I have Kyler Murray 21st, and that's why I've got Tua 23rd. Is Tua, first of all, you can't rely on him to be available, but even his availability, like he's been worse. He was worse last year than what he's been.
Trevor Lawrence is going the wrong direction. Kyler Murray was so bad. I will never forgive him for his performance in the playoff game. That cost me in my playoff fantasy league. I've got Kyler Murray at 28.
Yeah. I thought he played better last year.
I think Kyler Murray, I will say this. You said that the quarterbacks aren't good, Sam, but there is not a proliferation of disasters anymore.
Yeah.
What do you mean not? I see.
You and I were talking.
Quarterback overplay overall, I think, was worse last year. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think,
everybody's
got a guy that can win a game for the most part, or they have somebody who is unproven and we're waiting to see what they are.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember back in the day, it seemed like there were just a whole bunch of guys that were like, he's been around and he started, so we're playing him. And, part of it is, everyone used to draft a guy and sit him. And now most of the times you draft a guy and play him. And so that's bumped some of those guys out. But look, I am down on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there's anything else there. I think he's just a guy, right? I think it was one of the worst contracts that we've seen. Like it's oh, he had the great comeback against the Chargers. Well, he dug the hole.
Yeah.
Right. He threw the picks to, put him in the hole. Yeah. So, but to your point about Kyler Murray, I don't think he's awful. Right? Like, I don't think Geno Smith is awful, but I just don't think there's any ceiling there. I don't think there's any ceiling with Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there's any ceiling with Kyler Murray. He's going to run, and then he's going to get hurt, and then you're going to need somebody else to play for him. Joe Flacco's just done. Justin Fields cannot throw, but if you want to scheme some things up and run with him a little bit, fine. Russell Wilson, in some ways, I wonder if I shouldn't have had Russell Wilson up at the bottom of tier 3. I'm a little bit higher on Russell Wilson than anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah. Just the type of guys I had up there, guys that I think, listen, he steadied the ship for the Steelers and got them winning games last year. He went to the playoffs.
The one, I guess Geno's really low on your list at 30.
He sucks. He has gotten worse every year for 3 years. He had 1 year where he got everybody in Seattle. He's gotten worse every year for 3 years.
He threw for 4,300 yards last year with a 93 passer rating. Like, how I don't see that with Geno Smith. I don't. Joe Flacco 3 spots ahead of Geno Smith is confounding to me.
Because I think Geno Smith is, at least Joe Flacco. When you start Joe Flacco, you know exactly what you're doing. You're just holding a spot. The Raiders, and maybe this is partly because I see the Raiders trading for him, but the Raiders going and getting and thinking they've got their guy, it's ridiculous.
Well, see, I totally agree with that point, and that's what I'm talking about with some of these middling
21
veterans.
Touchdowns and 15 interceptions last year, 20 and 9 the year before.
But he still puts up a 93 pass rating, 92, 100. Like his career pass rating with Seattle was 96
with a horrible offensive line, by the way.
And he's 40
and DK Metcalf is not the reliable receiver that people think he is.
Who isn't? DK Metcalf?
DK Metcalf is not as reliable as people think he is.
Tyler Lockett is aging. Tyler Lockett was old and not really.
I don't think he had a whole lot to work with in Seattle, and he was competitive.
I think they just completely protected him. He turned the ball over. There's nothing. There's no upside. What do you think he's going to be?
So you do think Seattle made a good move by getting Sam Darnold over?
I think they're the same guy.
You've got him 10 spots apart, right?
But I mean, down here, is this really where you think the
no? There's much less separation at the bottom than there is the top for sure.
Yeah.
And even the middle, but I rate Geno much better than.
Geno's also 35 this year.
Where'd you have him, Geno?
I think it's 16, maybe.
16? Okay.
30.
So, I had him at 19.
Ask anyone in Seattle
if they think
Geno Smith.
I think Seattle liked him.
No.
The turnovers were big, but I just think I'll die on the hill if he didn't have a ton of help. And that offensive line has been a problem in Seattle forever. And Russell Wilson was able to mitigate that with his mobility. But, I think that it caught up to Geno. I'm not saying he's going to be gay. I think the Raiders will be better with him at quarterback. I think you'll be surprised at how better he plays with a coach who probably can use him differently.
Okay. All right. So now we're down to tier 6, the almighty tier 6. Jeff, who's down here at the bottom?
Need to see more. That's the label for this tier. Okay. Just because I don't trust quarterbacks in the NFL until I've seen them play a lot of football, at least a year's worth. And so J.J. McCarthy's top of that list at 29. Michael Penix is 30, played in 3 games last year and won one of those starts. Cam Ward, have not seen him play a second in the NFL. He's 31. And then I'm giving the Saints job to Spencer Rattler, who played, I think, in 7 games last year, but I'm not certain he's going to end up keeping it.
You've seen too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's tempting to go with the rookie there, but again, if the rookie was there, it'd be the same spot for him. Tyler Hoff, whatever, however you say his name, get from Louisville.
Okay. All right, Sam, tier 6 for you.
I've got 27 with Cam Ward. I don't think this draft was, didn't have the quarterback talent. The last one did. 28, Justin Fields. 29, Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart. 30, whoever the hell winds up playing for New Orleans. Whenever I sent in my list, I literally just said Saints QB.
I know.
31 is Joe Flacco, and 32 is Daniel Jones. And if they want to play Anthony Richardson, he'll wind up in the same spot.
And just for the discussion's sake, Anthony Richardson 31 and Spencer Rattler 32. I see nothing in Spencer Rattler. I didn't see anything in him in college, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And Anthony Richardson is a running back who gets hurt playing quarterback. And
they should use him like that. Like they should use him like Taysom Hill.
They might end up doing it.
They should.
It's what should probably happen, but somebody, because he's got quarterback pedigree, will keep trying him there.
Yeah, but he can run. He can run. He's a good runner, and they should use him like that.
240 and runs like a 4.5. But I mean, you know what he is? He's Tim Tebow.
He's better. NFL better. He's NFL better.
As a tight end, you would like him better as a.
Well, I would like him better as just like I said, like this running. Like if he was the Chiefs' backup, they should use him.
Yeah.
Like
Sneaks. Most
teams should have a use for a guy like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I'm with it.
The starting quarterback is.
But you have Russell Wilson, who took a team to the playoffs last year, all the way down here at the bottom.
No, he didn't take a team to the playoffs.
Steelers, they didn't go to the playoffs. Didn't the Steelers go?
Yeah, they played the playoffs. Yeah. The Ravens beat them.
Yeah,
the Ravens beat them. Yeah. Well, so what was Justin Fields had even better record than Russell did, right? I don't think Russell. I think Russell Wilson is going to be worse every year from now on than he was the previous year, because I think one of the reasons you saw the downturn for Russell Wilson is he was a quarterback who relied on moving around in the pocket and making these off-script plays. And the older you get, the bigger you get, and the slower you get, that's a lot harder to do. And he hasn't adjusted to that. Like he takes just an incredible number of sacks. I do think he still throws a pretty deep ball if that's the way they want to use him. And so Malik Neighbors will probably like that, but I don't think he finishes the season. If I had named my last tier other than Cam Ward, I'd have to bump him up for this. It would be all guys who I don't think finish the season as a starting quarterback. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, the Saints, Joe Flacco, and Daniel Jones. I don't think any of those guys start for the whole season.
Well, I know why Jeff's got Cam Ward down there, but why you don't see any upside in Cam Ward? You're not up.
I do, but like the other upside guys I have ranked ahead of him are J.J. McCarthy, who I think is. I don't know that he's more talented than Cam Ward. I think the fact that he's got a full year in the NFL, even if he didn't play, at least he knows the offense. I think that assists him. Penix, I thought showed flashes last year, so I had him ranked ahead. And then I just think that of the young guys we don't know much about, Caleb Williams and Drake May are clearly the most talented.
Okay. Anything you do differently? Anything jump at you for a final thought?
Nah, I mean, I think one of you guys said it. Once you get past probably your top 8 guys, then you see a lot of. It's harder to differentiate some of these guys, because to me, there's probably in my tier 3, it was harder to rank them because, Trevor Lawrence could easily be 19 or 20 in that list versus 14. But I feel like he's in the same grouping as the Baker Mayfields, the Sam Darnolds, the Tuas, these guys that have gotten big contracts. They've had some good moments, but you just can't trust them. Whereas the top of the list is easy. I think it's just, I don't think there's much argument about the top 6 or 7 guys in the NFL, if they belong in that group. If you could have any of those guys, you'd take them in a heartbeat. But there is, the bottom is not what it used to be, but the middle is really packed with some guys that you just can't trust that much.
Yeah, so you can't trust Dak.
I think Dak's good. I don't think Dak's going to win a championship. I think
I don't either. I'm with you. I think you can trust him, but you can trust him to just be
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can trust Dak to be good and not great.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is Alex Smith like, right?
If you want great, you got to look to our sponsors. You can support the Red, Gold, and Bold by supporting our sponsors like Gann Asphalt and Concrete with free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews. Every project comes with a written warranty. They keep your parking lot safe, keep you focused on your business. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. One contractor, all things parking lot. Northland Injury Law, Google, Kansas City's Google 5-star rated personal injury lawyers. If you've got a case, text HURT to 22222 or call 816-400-HURT. Our friends at Suede Cannabis. If you haven't heard, Best of Me Wellness is now Suede Cannabis. Find the location nearest you and shop online at SuedeCannabis.com. And, of course, if you're up late, up early, if you're up anytime, Whataburger's open 24 hours a day. Now for a limited time, get the Pico de Gallo burger, the sweet and spicy bacon burger, patty melt, the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich. Wash it all down with a banana pudding shake. It's at Whataburger, proud sponsor of the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. For Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star, I'm Soren Petro saying thank you very much for joining us here on the Red, Gold, and Bold